Out of the silent winter a familiar sound grew, distant at first, but then louder, and with an explosion of noise and sound, the circus blew into the sands of Bahrain. The race was on. Around the world it travelled, this riot of noise, fumes, colour and drama, this glamorous troupe to entertain the people who flocked to see their heroes in glistening machines. First into the ring came the riders of the bull. In German and Australian hands it flew, and the champagne flowed. From the new world to the old, the challenge was laid down. Could they now steal the spotlight from those two British stars? Two champions in one team with different styles, one full of flair and on the edge, the other calm and methodical. Both keen to add another crown. Both at times still revelled in the acclaim of the crowd. But perhaps the most celebrated machine of all would come out on top. A flash of red and a wave of a flag. The charging bull may have met its match in the prancing horse. How another man, an aging and fading star, would have loved to have been riding his old chariot. Once untouchable, he had forgotten the most important rule. Always leave them wanting more. And with that and other failures, there's also a reminder that great men are nothing without great machines. But of course, even more is sometimes needed. In this game where sport and politics do mix, every team, of course, has its favourite son.
Fernando is faster than you.
Well done, Mark, you drove very well today.
Stop there for number 2 driver.
But how does this story finish? Still so close, still no one can tell. 5 continents crossed, 5 men hoping to be the ultimate star. In the desert it began, and in the desert it will finish. But will the ringmaster have his grand finale here to the greatest show on earth?
Wow. That must take an hours to write that.
Did you like it, Jay?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it was very nice. Did you enjoy it?
It's different, very different. You know yourself, listening to your own voice, you're always very sceptical and say, oh, I should have done that better and this and that and the other. But yeah, I was really pleased to be able to do it.
Does that give us an insight into how you were on the pit wall back in the day?
No, that was calmness personified, and I'm usually the raging bull up on that pit lane, and you just take on a different persona.
I bet. We'd love you to get in touch with us, please, if you can. Our email is f1@bbc.co.uk, or you can get involved Twitter @JakeHumphreyF1. And let's just go through a few emails, actually, to start with. And as is to be expected, many of them are about Red Bull. This one's from Nicole. Red Bull have just handed the World Championship to Fernando Alonso by being stubborn. Who wants to take my bet that Mark will have problems next week? I'm not sure what she's referring to there. What's your take on that, David?
Well, if she's got the crystal ball and she knows what's going to happen next week, then share that with the rest of us. I think that we can all make our predictions, but bottom line is we've got a number of drivers that can win this World Championship. I think Christian was very clear there that the strategy of Red Bull was to allow their drivers to go racing until such time as what we could see next week. And as Eddie's question showed us, if they were running in that order, then they'd reverse the order to make sure that Mark would win the World Championship.
He made that clear, and I'm glad he made it clear, because then we now know what to expect. And who could begrudge Red Bull the championship? Whether it's Alonso, I think Hamilton is out of it, and we've got to think like that. If he wins it, it's a miracle. So you've got 3 guys, and each now team have to go for their best shot.
Sure. Well, Challenge Annika is with us. Martin, up you come. Pop in here.
You might need to explain that part.
Oh, go on then.
Okay, Martin, just so you know.
I heard it.
Did you hear? Oh, you could hear it. Maybe you should put a blue jumpsuit on and we can check you out.
Years ago.
Good programme.
May I just say that Annika is marginally more beautiful than you, Martin, as much as I love you.
Yeah, I'm better looking in the dark.
What did you make of the race? Enjoy it?
I did enjoy it. It wasn't an all-time great, was it? But it was quite intriguing. And obviously the safety car caught up a big pack of drivers who lost a huge amount of ground, and that enabled McLaren and Mercedes-Benz to do some pit stops too with Rosberg. But of course, it didn't really impact on the race, and you sensed that Vettel had it covered any which way.
Do you not think that made it a bit messy, actually, the fact that they didn't allow the leaders? I know that's the rules as they stand, but that's a key moment, I think, where they should allow the leaders to filter to the front, and it let us all see a real battle instead of having to come through all those back markers.
A couple of seasons ago, remember, they used to have a period of time where lapped runners could unlap themselves and join the back of the queue, but it made the safety car period just way too long, and we needed to get back and guaranteed a safety car period was going to be 5 or 6 laps at least. So I think this is a better system, but it did, didn't it? It caught up the McLarens and the Mercedes-Benz. They just got caught up in so much traffic, but it wasn't really going to impact on the podium, let's face it.
What did you make of that decision by McLaren, Eddie, to come in and stop the tyres in that period?
Well, you had to look at how many laps were left and what was the realistic chance, as Martin says, of getting by those back markers. And really, I was surprised they kept the places where they were, but they immediately went on the back foot. I couldn't see how they could move forward. I could see how they could move back, but to make real progress, it wasn't there for me.
Okay, another email here. Do you think that Red Bull are favouring Vettel, Martin? This is from Cleo Morris. If the team know that switching both Vettel and Webber would put the team in a better position to beat Fernando Alonso in the Drivers' World Championship, why wouldn't they do it now? And then in big, bold letters, I would love to hear the view of the guys.
I think it's highly likely that the team and the owners of the team would prefer Vettel to win the championship. He's younger. He's one of their protégés coming through. If you look back through the year, there's so many reasons why he should have had that championship sewn up a long time ago. He's so fast in the races. The obvious answer is yes, they should have put Webber in front if they want to give Webber a better chance of being Alonso. But then what happens next weekend? If Alonso and Webber get together in turn 1 at the start of the race and they've got to compromise Vettel's point situation, what are they going to say to Vettel then? What are they going to say to any of us?
They did the right thing today, and that was the key thing that Christian said today. Take out of the context of his speech that he gave to us the interview. The word is today. They will change it next week, no doubt about it, if it requires to be.
And the big difference here in comparison to the Ferrari situation is that both Mark and Seb are winning races, are performing at a really high level. If you look at Ferrari, then Felipe Massa, for whatever reason, just hasn't found his form again, having come back from that incident last year, or the accident in Budapest. So it's not almost a no-brainer for Ferrari to do what they're doing, but it's so difficult for Red Bull when you've got these highly motivated drivers. How do you say, right, we've paid you a lot of money to give you the opportunity to come and drive a race-winning car, but in actual fact, well, we're going to tell you right now at the beginning or halfway through the season, you're not the chosen one.
But they've done it on plenty of occasions at the end of the season, and drivers, along with fans and everyone else, seems to accept it.
Yes, but they said all along, whilst both their drivers have a realistic chance of winning this championship, they will not get in the way of it. And in many ways, you could say Dietrich Mateschitz, who owns Red Bull, tremendously successful company, very wealthy man. Does his company depend on winning the Drivers' Championship, or does his own sporting honour is more important to him to allow his drivers to go and earn the right to be world champion on racetrack?
Yeah, that's a good point. They're not stupid people. They've just come on and won the Constructors' World title. I think he's making it clear that he would rather see a sporting challenge, and he knows he could risk losing the championship. We're not going to tell him anything he hasn't worked out for himself, and he's prepared to accept that risk. It was his call.
It's a huge difference, though, that Fernando could finish second, Mark could finish first, and wouldn't win the title, compared to if they'd have swapped them today, Mark could have been 6th, Fernando could have been 7th, and they would win the title because it would just be 1 point between them. You've got to take those opportunities when you have them, haven't you?
Look, first of all, Martin has absolutely hit the nail on the head. We don't often see Dietrich Mateschitz here. He's a very quiet, very keeps out of the limelight, but he has a huge code of honour, and his belief, he wouldn't feel happy, I believe, having employed 2 drivers to get on and do the best. I think he wants it. Yes, next week is a different story for everyone, but I think that he will maintain the rules that he's got.
And I think when he made that decision was back in Turkey, when they ran into each other, and then at Silverstone, where we had all that fuss over the front wing. Red Bull are all about extreme sports. That's their marketing, that's their ethos. And I think it's at that point he made that decision.
I believe that's true, or maybe even coming into Silverstone, because he wouldn't have wanted Webber to have a more modern wing than Vettel. And a decision came through, and I think the decision came through to Helmut Marko, which is the cause, in my opinion, of some of Webber's discontent. He has targeted these recent statements against Helmut, that's for sure.
Yeah, the other thing is as well, Mark had a water pressure problem during the race. Temperatures were running high. He had to back out of it. They can't possibly know whether you're going to see a repeat of what happened to Vettel in Korea, and then it's a completely different scenario. And if you'd backed Sebastian into Alonso, then you wouldn't feel quite so clever.
And you also have just another ingredient, and this is where I think the key will be McLaren. We haven't heard anything about the front wing and Red Bull's front wing of recent times. So if I was Christian Horner, I'd go and have a quiet word with McLaren, and I'd say, listen, guys, you know, we could do with a bit of help if you fancy it or whatever. Maybe that's too outrageous a thought, but it would be one that I would have at least try and have that conversation.
Okay, there's a young lady offering ice creams here, Eddie. Are you interested?
I'm a very keen. I'm a glutton
He
for
loves
ice
his
cream.
ice cream.
Oh, God.
We can't slurp ice creams
Take one of those,
during the...
yeah.
he's
very much.
He's in
Forum,
as well.
can we?
Okay, now I'm going to
Right,
make this
really
really
save mine for
difficult.
later,
You've got to
thank
eat those, and we've got to walk down the pit lane and the paddock at the same time. Right, this is going to be interesting. Let me see how many... We've got about 5 people here, another 4 here. This is 9 people trying to walk, Martin, down the tightest paddock in Formula 1. It's amazing here, isn't it?
It's
so
one of the
on
best
F1.
paddocks, though, isn't it? I'd trade this any day of the week for that.
We lost
the
EJ already.
The Chinese place is just awful, isn't it?
We've lost
400
Eddie already.
metres of concrete. At least this place has got a bit of spirit, a bit of life. Everybody's... I mean, what I do feel sorry for the mechanics trying to pack this lot up and getting off to Abu Dhabi. And we're in the way.
DC's former friends trying to steal his ice cream. It's a really great atmosphere, Martin, isn't it, when someone wins a championship and all the celebrations are going on, but these guys, of course, still have to carry on with their work, don't they?
Yeah, and this is one of the most extreme back-to-backs I've ever known. I mean, Brazil, and then off to the Middle East. It's incredible.
Bernie thinks we're having a nice time having a holiday, but this is, you talk about extreme. Martin, we've just had Japan, we've had Singapore, we had Korea. It's been a real slog for guys my age. You are a lot younger. I tell you what, I'm worn out. This has been really tough.
Yeah. This is totally mayhemic. Eddie's already lost his ice cream. David's eating something. Just take a look over there. You can see we've got a forklift truck waiting to come down here. We're delaying him. And here, Red Bull are trying to sort out all their tyres whilst David continues to get cuddled by various people. Okay, we're going to go through the garage. Do you guys want to lead the way? And we'll give you an example of how tight it is, even when you're making your way into the garages and through the garages here. So Peter's leading the way. Thank you very much, Pitbull. Pitbull's job is to make sure no one comes near unless they're allowed. And we mentioned the music. David, who picks the tunes in Red Bull?
It's down to the individual mechanics to stick on their iPods, so absolutely free. We might turning into a bit of a nightclub, unsurprisingly.
Yeah, they will probably transform
There's
it
the
into a nightclub.
photographers here. Look, they're obviously getting ready for the big We Are the Champions shot, presumably.
And it doesn't feel like 2 minutes, Eddie, does it? Since we were here, standing in a garage the other end of this pit lane with Jenson Button, who just been crowned the world champion.
Well, except they stayed in the garage longer because there was really nowhere else to go. It wasn't a couple of days, 4 days, to be wind up in the middle of the desert in the Middle East. I mean, this is... Martin is right. The schedule for the people working here to get all of this out of here through customs on a jumbo tomorrow morning, hopefully get it cleared into Abu Dhabi, and off we go again. I mean, it's remarkable. They have to build garages. But what I would say just about in there, isn't it just so like backstage at a rock gig? I mean, everything is just...
Only you would know about backstage at a rock gig. You're the only rock star here.
They'll be breaking this garage down in record speed because the guys know that they've got a little party this evening to celebrate that Constructors' Championship before getting on the plane for the final push in Abu Dhabi.
And we're still in the way. We're still in the way out
Queen,
here.
we are the champions. Okay, well, David, you've got a bit of ice cream on your microphone, so perhaps you can clean that off while we take a look at the start of today's race, the race that means Red Bull are playing We Are the Champions here. And it was always going to be a huge task for Nico Hulkenberg, David.
Yeah, indeed. He very quickly got smothered there by Sebastian, and not much he could do there. But in actual fact, he put in a very strong performance, I think, in the early parts of that race. He was clean in his defending, he was very decisive, and I think it was a great, mature performance for him.
Yeah, I think it might be easy for viewers to think, well, he started on pole and finished 8th, what a disaster, but actually it wasn't at all. I think he outperformed the car in qualifying, took his chances, and that was the best he could do in a straightforward dry race.
As a team boss, you would look at him and you'd say, there is so much I like about him because, A, he has the possibility of taking the initiative by taking pole, but actually he drove very hard and he drove carefully, and he did the maximum I believe that car could do here this weekend, certainly in the race.
Yeah, we're just seeing on board there with Sebastian Vettel, nice clean bit of track ahead of him, so as Martin said in commentary, he was able to run flat through turn 3 and the run down the back straight. I thought Eddie was going to say, when he was saying when you look at these young drivers, the first thing you think is we're on board there with Alonso,
How much would he be aware that these guys are fighting for a title, Martin, and think, well, I really don't want to get in your way and actually send you off the track, because I'll never live it down?
Well, I asked him that question on the grid, didn't I? And he was more or less, well, I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to drive my race. It's their problem, not mine. And I think that's absolutely right, isn't it? I'm pleased I'm standing next door to somebody with a high-vis shirt on as well. It's definitely getting a bit dodgy around here.
You're talking about David's then?
Your shirts do come in handy at times, Eddie, absolutely. Let's talk about Jenson Button. We can ride on board with him now. Stephen Foster says Jenson was the only lead driver not to make a major mistake all season. It could be that he has a much, much better 2011 with a different tyre supplier.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's again, as Martin mentioned in the commentary, that's exactly what Michael Schumacher's bargaining on next year, that the new tyres, a new set of regulations will enable them to be more competitive. But I think Jenson's had a great first season with McLaren. When you consider that Lewis has been there for many years, okay.
It looks like a broken lens on the camera there. We didn't see that during the race.
Is that a bit of dirt coming up? And
well, they've got this sort of plastic that turns around inside the camera housing, and in that case there, it's been hit by something a bit more than a piece of rubber. Yeah. And that will probably explain why we didn't see any more in-car footage of Jenson during the race.
Interesting to see that. So that's the film that covers over the lens that was broken there. Jenson Button, you've been impressed with him this season, Eddie? We didn't really get.
I think in the main show I finished off by saying, Leave, the talent has been absolutely brilliant. I thought that was a very strong drive today. Really, really strong in difficult conditions. And he finished, and he didn't give up in the very last yard. And he got right up on the back of Hamilton. I think he was very strong. I've already said till I'm sounding boring that he's been an absolutely revelation. He was a great, great world champion.
I think he did drive a good race today, but he's been off the pace, hasn't he, towards the end of the season. This last few races now, Jenson really hasn't been able to match Lewis's raw pace.
And if you're wondering about deja vu, I think we are the champions on the loop, haven't they?
Do you blame them?
We might get bored of it if we're here for another hour talking on the F1 forum and hearing the same song. Let's have a little chat about Michael Schumacher and his race today. Eddie, you've been scathing at times about Michael Schumacher this season, but there's been a lot of talk in the pit lane this weekend that the last 2 or 3 races particularly, he started to lift up his performances. Another points finished today, and he's been doing that consistently now.
He turned it around in Singapore. I was scathing. I thought he drove a really horror of a race in Singapore. Martin said in the thing that he actually admitted it himself. I've never actually heard him say that, but he did. It was a shocker. But since then, every single time he's upped his game. So, you know, the jury is out on this. I'm not trying to say that I've changed my opinion. I've certainly seen a huge improvement. But then, to be fair, there needed to be an improvement.
Michael was unlucky today because he got held up behind Sutil, who was on a long stop strategy, and allowed Rosberg through. I'm still not clear how Rosberg pitted 3 times and still ended up in front of Michael. But we'll have to analyse that. It was off camera, of course, but I think Michael was actually very unlucky not to beat Rosberg home.
And Mercedes are very much looking now at 2011. What noises are they making about what we can expect from them next year?
Well, they'll be hoping they can rediscover the magic that allowed Braun to win the 2009 World Championship. Essentially, it's the same group of people there. The stability of the ownership of Mercedes. Why should they not be able to recapture that? But clearly, if they put the same ingredients into the cake mix, they're going to get the same very average results. So they've got to be trying to do something different.
Okay, well, Michael will be hoping that they're going to change the mix for next season, because if they do, then perhaps he can start picking up wins once again. He said he's staying in Formula One, and here he is after today's race.
Michael, was it a difficult day out there? You made a good move past Jenson at the beginning. Just tell us about the rest of it.
Yeah, the difficulty is that I have so much sand in my eyes. It feels like a sandbox.
So you're not crying?
No, I'm not crying, but full of sand. I'm sorry.
Okay, and just tell us about your race.
No, the race was pretty good. I mean, except the first corner, Kubica pushed me out and I lost good places. Then had some good racing with my mate Jenson. So it was a tough fight and got it for me. And then I don't know why, but I was probably a couple of laps early in the pits, instead of trying to get in front of Sutil, I got stuck behind him, and then the race was kind of predetermined. Safety car opened it a bit. Obviously, I stayed out on my old tires. Nico had fresh tires being behind me. I let him through to give him a chance to fight the guys in front. But unfortunately, it didn't work out for the team to improve the position.
Another stronger drive from Michael Schumacher today. And it's times like this where the F1 forum is a bit magic, isn't it? Because normally you'd stop watching on BBC One, you'd open your paper the next day and see a photo of the team celebrating. But this gives us the opportunity to watch all of that unfolding and see what goes on.
Yeah, they're choreographing it now. It's a big moment, isn't it, for these guys? They've got one championship in the bag, which will be a massive relief. Imagine if they hadn't have picked this one up. But you have to say, they look like they've pretty much got it covered off. They've had the fastest car all year, and they've done it a race early.
Now, Eddie, because you're the only one with a high-vis top on, you're the only one legally allowed to go into a working area. So why don't you pop in, have a chat to a few of the mechanics, engineers, and the guys who've helped Red Bull to do this?
Before you did that to me last year, and you had all these young girls
Come on.
and had all the bad
That's why we
vibes
want
when
to
I
send
got
you
home.
back. Go and see how they're feeling at Red Bull.
Well, who am I going to see then?
Well, go and find out.
Come on. I've got Jonathan and I've got Christian. We want to have a little chat with these boys. Now, come on, you've been around here a long time. Tell me how excited this is.
To be honest, it hasn't sunk in yet, Eddie. I mean, we're, coming from acorns and then becoming an oak tree.
No, you're being a bit...
Nobody can take this away from us. Yeah, but nobody can take this away from us. It's the most amazing feeling.
And you're going to have a little celebration now? You're going to have a little photo?
Definitely. Room number 1623 in the Hyatt Hotel. 6 years with Red Bull.
Will we all fit in?
6 years.
on that room.
Awesome. No
Listen,
words.
guys, you can't imagine the great feeling, not just the people here, but everyone at home. This is a remarkable story. It's the real David and Goliath. I promise you, you've got a great, huge amount of support, and we're absolutely so pleased for you. Great champions. And who am I next, Jake?
They're ready. They're passing around the champagne. Go and chat to the guys who've got the victory drink.
He's not normally shy, is he?
DC would like some champagne because he believes he made this team, you know. I mean, he's here from the very beginning, so why don't we bring it over and give DC a drink?
Yeah, he's always blaming someone else, isn't he?
Guys, come on, where are you living? You based in England?
Sorry?
Are you based in England? You're based in Milton?
Yeah, Northampton, yeah.
How long have you been there?
Northampton?
No, how long have you been at Red Bull?
Right from the start, from Jaguar originally as well, so coming up at 10 years in total.
So do you think you could bring some of that champagne over to DC over there because he believes that he deserves a good slurp of it?
I'm sure we can.
Now, we know this man. Hey, hang on a second. We know this man. We know him from... How many championships did you win at Benetton?
Benetton in 05. Started with Michael Schumacher in 94.
Has this been better?
Yes, this means more to me than the first one.
Kenny, but then you're in a different position. You are sort of crew chief. You're in charge of everything here, and chief mechanic. So, is it because you've got everybody looking after you and giving you some, if you like, looking for you to direct them?
I mean, I came here 4 years ago with, it's a new team. Red Bull have just taken it over, so we all, came to help. And, we've got where we wanted to be, so very proud.
Next week, you want to hear the same music again, though, don't you? You want to hear We Are the Champions.
Every week.
Yeah, but you can't be that greedy, can you? Come on, Kenny.
That's life.
How's your golf, Kenny?
Sorry?
How's your golf?
Not as good as yours.
He can get back to playing golf after all of this. God, this has been a hard season for everyone, I must tell you. And
And if you're wondering what we've got our hands on here, this is the trophy from today. I've got lots of people looking at me rather suspiciously. If you come and just have a very close-up look at this, Pete, just at the top of what is, I suppose, the raindrop, which is rather apt from qualifying, it's covered in glue. Someone at Red Bull, in the last 20 minutes, has already broken the trophy for winning today's race.
It's made out of recycled plastic from all of the rubbish out the back.
It looks
there,
like about
so.
50 quid's worth, doesn't it? But it means quite a lot.
Actually, you know, the least expensive trophy in the Grand Prix calendar is the Monte Carlo trophy.
Why is that?
It's just whoever they get to make the trophy. We used to get replicas made because McLaren kept them all, so it was €240. And by the looks of that, that's probably just...
Maybe Mark Webber threw it off the top of the podium, you know?
Well, perhaps he did. Just tell us, Eddie, how much these mean to teams. You picked up a few trophies for winning races in your time.
well, you never, the ones that you win, you obviously want to make sure that they're there. And from my point of view, yes, it looks a very... it's the winning constructors. Who cares what it looks like? It's the memento, it's the actual meaning. Everyone who sees this will envisage everything that the whole season was about, but particularly the 1-2 here in Brazil. It was a remarkable race.
Have you kept your trophies from the Jordan days, or did you sell them as well as everything else?
I'm not sure I should reply to that. Of course I still have them, David.
Good. Eddie, can I give you this to return?
With pleasure.
Okay. Thanks very much. Right, we'll send that back to the team with Eddie. I love the little green and yellow flex on there. Very Brazilian, very nice. That's not used for cooling yourself down. It's for other things. We'll talk about Fernando Alonso in a few moments. We'll hear from him after today's race because obviously we heard from him in the drivers' press conference, but he's also been speaking to Lee. Here he is.
Fernando, you still lead the championship, third today. Is that enough for you?
Yeah, I think it was a good day for us. Obviously, race, we knew some difficulties, overtaking Hamilton and then Unkelberg. But after that, I think the race pace was good. Losing 3 points with Weber in a difficult race like today and a difficult qualifying that we had yesterday, I think is a great result in the weekend.
Do you think that Red Bull may have given you a little present today in choosing not to swap their drivers? If Mark had won this race, he would just have been 1 point behind you.
Well, I think people try to compare with Ferrari, what happened in Germany. But here, 2 drivers can win the championship. This is very different. I think if Sebastian win in Abu Dhabi, I'm 5th, he is mathematically world champion, which is possible because if McLaren and Red Bull are quick in Abu Dhabi, maybe I found myself 5th. So Sebastian is a very strong contender at the moment for the championship.
Sebastian, of course, won Abu Dhabi last year. How does that make you feel?
Well, obviously it's not easy. I think our goal in Abu Dhabi is to win the race. If we cannot win second, we know that give us mathematically championship. If not, obviously we need to be better than 5th, because if not, Sebastian will win easy.
I asked the same to Mark Webber, and I'll ask it to you. Are you happy it's back-to-back races? Do you handle the pressure well? Do you have sleepless nights?
Yeah, I think so. It's quite late in the championship. It's November, so it's better to finish as soon as possible, because another 15 days we finish too late the championship.
Well done, Fernando Alonso. A good points finish for him today. We've decided to join the madness. If you take a look to the right over there, Pete, you can see what's happening. The guys are in position. They've got the pit boards from today saying P1, which means P1 in the race and P1 in the Constructors' Championship as well. Adrian Newey is here sipping on water. Adrian, are you drinking water because you won so many of these now? You become blasé.
No, it's ever since many years at Williams, after we'd been through all the scrutiny and we got protested. And I'd had a few glasses of champagne by then. So I had to go up and see Charlie, half cut. So since then, I've been a bit more disciplined.
That's never good. Lots of texts and emails coming in about this man, Christian, asking us just how much of a difference he makes to a team. I know this might be slightly embarrassing when he's all of 2 feet away from you, but what difference and how important is Adrian to the fact this team have won so quickly?
Adrian, you know, he's contributed so much, and he's led the team, the technical side, brilliantly. And I'm going to make him blush now because, you know, without him, without his leadership, you know, he's been a big part of what we've achieved here. So.
Of course, as are the drivers, and I'm not too sure how Sebastian is dressed at the moment, but Mark has joined us. Mark, how special are moments like this for you to be part of the team celebration, having won the Constructors' Battle?
Oh, it's incredible, you know. I think they haven't been on the block that long, you know, so to Christian and, you know, Adrian, I mean, this guy here designing cars is just obviously phenomenal. So Renault, Rob Marshall, all the guys back at the factory, all the girls, you know, we've got the best front deck. We've got Thelma back there at base as well. We've got the best operator.
Everyone loves Thelma.
Yes, that's right.
Mark, just talk us through the race there. Obviously, there was various points where you were able to squeeze in and close up to Seb.
Yeah, nothing between us, I think, in the whole race. Obviously, you know, we're both pushing reasonably hard. Seb was dropping a few wheels here and there and, you know, having a good crack as well. So it was a good race. It went pretty quick, actually, and then we had a little problem with the engine, which we had to control. So after that, it was just getting to the end.
Well, we heard about your front tyres getting hot, but when did your engine kick in? What was the problem?
I'm still not exactly sure, mate. They just wanted me to short shift, so yeah.
We've got to get out of it. We're in the way now. I think
if there's a group of people that you don't cross at a Formula One Grand Prix, it's the photographers, because they get very angry. But we can just pop out here and watch this from afar and enjoy these scenes. And Martin, it's great to see both drivers coming down, celebrating this with the rest of the crew.
This is a very big moment for the entire team, including the drivers. And Sebastian, he's always Jack the lad, isn't he, at the front there? But this is a big moment. We know a lot of these mechanics and all the team back at base. You know, it's a bit like an iceberg, isn't it? These are the people that come to the race meetings, but of course there are hundreds more back at the factory who achieved just as much and should be enjoying this moment in the same way.
How did you keep the guys at the factory empowered and involved in what you're doing, Eddie, when they feel so far away from the action?
Well, so many of them, you know, the travelling is not easy, and I think a lot of them, every year, people come to you and say, look, I've got a young family and I'm doing this, and I just like a couple of years away from the travel, can I work at base? And they're equally as important. The guys who are here are actually putting the cars together, but the design and the concept people back at base, every single bit is important, and make no mistake.
Well, even with the silly hat on, congratulations to Sebastian, the race winner from today, along with the rest of the Red Bull team who are here in Brazil. And David, the next, let's just move forwards because we don't want to get covered in that stuff. David, the next trick is to take the momentum from this onto the next race, isn't it?
Well, there won't be many developments in the few days it takes for us to get to Abu Dhabi, so what a great grandstand finish we're going to be seeing here.
Eddie, why don't you go in there and interview Sebastian now?
No, I think Sebastian deserves everything. This is memories of Monaco, I remember, except doing hoops backwards into swimming pools, and there will be a swimming pool of champagne here if we don't curtail some of them.
They do celebrate like nobody else, don't they?
Well, the pressure, the valve goes off, doesn't it, and the pressure gets released, and that is the end result. The photographers love it, the team love it even more.
But it's the human touch, and really forget it. You know, McLaren do a very good job, Ferrari do a fabulous job, Mercedes, but actually Red Bull get away with this so well because it's in their nature. Their DNA is for a party team, and everybody loves them for that.
How difficult, David, is it after something like this to turn it around in just a couple of days? I mean, that's a lovely moment there, seeing Sebastian, one of the new breed of Formula One, enjoying a moment there.
With Ian Morgan, who's chief engineer.
Yeah, wonderful. How hard is it for Sebastian, the rest of the team, these guys, to have to turn around and just think about the racing now, probably within the next 2 or 3 hours, or is that just the job?
Yeah, I don't think it's difficult at all for them. You know, what a way to do a pack-up here in Brazil when you just won a championship. So that makes that a lot easier. It'll make the queuing at the airport and travelling economy all the way across to Abu Dhabi a lot easier as well. So, you know, tick one box and then the final box is there. Can they come away with the Drivers' World Championship?
But they know more than ever. Every single one of them, they're enjoying the moment, but their mind is in Abu Dhabi. This time next week, they don't, and they probably, you know, who knows, will they ever get another chance as good as this? They want to capitalise on the double. They've got to win next week.
Well, I can see Sebastian trying to break away from the photographers to hopefully come over here and join us. Steve Aldous is a man that doesn't get a lot of praise on the BBC because he spends his time behind the cameras, apart from when he's saving presenters from being run over. But he's over there desperately trying to convince Sebastian that the thing to do is to come over here and join us. Looks like Eddie's keen to go and lend a hand as well. And here he is. Sebastian, congratulations. The Constructors' Championship, the win, and by the look of things, quite a lot of champagne all over you as well.
Yeah. So,
smells like a brewery. Honestly, I'm intoxicated here already by just standing next door to him. Oh.
Seb, but what's the thinking behind the hat?
Oh, it's getting colder. No, I'm very, very happy. You know, very proud of the team. Today is the team's day, and to win the... Do I look silly in this hat?
No, yes, only a little bit.
Keep it on. And no, you know, it's incredible effort. And I don't want to talk forever now, but you know, remember in 2005, David just entered the team, and Red Bull just really started in Formula One. I just got my driving license and drove to England, crossed the channel by ferry and went to Milton Keynes. If I compare back then and now, you know, amazing the step. And if you look at the car, you know, the cars they have built, and this year is just a masterpiece, and it's incredible nice to drive it. You know, everyone who has been involved, thanks a lot to all the people in Milton Keynes, but also here, you know, and back in Austria. So
it showed
really
it showed on the restart again today, just like in Korea. You had pace to spare, didn't you? You had some speed in hand today.
Yeah, I mean, you get another one.
He's got a hat on already.
How do I look?
Even more silly than I normally do. Thank you.
No, but yes, obviously, you know, the key was to win the start. It was tight with Hülkenberg, but just enough. And then I, you know, made a gap around 2.5 seconds, tried to control it from there because you never know what's going to happen. Turn the engine down, and then you see the safety car came out. So the important thing was to...
Oh, Mark Webber. Oh dear.
I wondered who that was. Anyway, tell me one thing, Sebastian. Constructors' Championship, you say, you know, congratulations to the guys back at the factory, everyone back in Austria. do you take anything from this at all, or is your focus absolutely on the Drivers' Championship?
Well, I take a lot of energy from this. You know, look into the guys' faces. Everyone is happy and extremely proud to be part of that. And that gives us all, I think, a big boost, knowing that no one can take the constructors' title away from us, and we just now go to Abu Dhabi. It's a tough travel still to do for all the guys, you know. And I mean, we are lucky traveling in business and first class, but those poor guys, they're back in economy, so it's tough packing everything up and then not being really able to sleep, coming there. So, you know, I think
they won't feel any pain tonight, don't worry, they won't feel any pain.
No.
We're happy and we take the energy. And
Sebastian.
As Eddie said, we also take the drinks tonight.
But you don't drink, do you? So you're not going to be drinking champagne
I drink
tonight.
champagne on the podium. I had a bit,
That's
so
it,
I
is
still
it?
feel a bit tipsy. It's all right.
Well, you'll be well sobered up by the time the next race rolls around. Just give us your mental thoughts about that race now. You're 15 points back in the championship. It's still going to be a big mountain to climb. What are you expecting to happen in Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, I mean, you know, any mountain on this planet has been climbed once or more time, many times. So obviously it's a big mountain to climb, but you know, it's not impossible. It looks much better now than probably some 4 hours ago. So we will see. The mindset is clear, the target and the approach is similar as to all the races we have done in the last couple of weeks. We just try to do our best, ideally try to win, and then, you know, unfortunately it's not in our hands anymore, so we have to see where the others are.
Okay, are you ready to return the favour to Mark
I'm
Webber
ready.
with a fire extinguisher?
Sounds like a philosopher nowadays, doesn't he? Honestly, what a young man and so talented. Well done to you.
Well done, Sebastian. Congratulations on the win and well done on the Constructors' Championship.
You would say rock and roll now.
Are we going to do our rock and roll game?
Yeah, I need to practice.
I have to tell you, the last time we did a little thing like this, he just won a race, he came on stage.
I was rubbish.
And it wasn't rubbish, he did Smoke on the Water as a tribute to Deep Purple, he was amazing. So we're going to do a gig in
I
Abu
bet
Dhabi.
all the
Is that
thousands of people that have been in Silverstone at that day disagree with you now, and they agree with me, but I will practice and I will come back stronger.
Is that a promise? Is that a promise?
That's a promise.
Okay, we got a promise for Silverstone next year, guys.
Oh, I didn't
You
say
be
next
at
year. Hold
Silverstone
on.
next year
I didn't say
because
next
he's
year, but
coming again.
in the future.
Okay, Sebastian, well done. There you go. A typical racing driver saying he'll come back stronger next time. I think just to wrap up this, Martin, just a real pleasure to share this emotion with Red Bull today.
You know, they're just regular guys at the end of the day with 2 arms and 2 legs like everybody else, and they just happen to be brilliant behind the wheel of a racing car. And that, for me, that interview just confirmed what a lovely, straightforward bloke he is.
David, are you quite emotional watching this happen? You have had a big part to play in this team, even though you're modest and you play it down.
Well, of course, I feel proud to have been part at the beginning of the team, and Sebastian obviously mentioned that when he, reminded me of how young he is and how old I am, that he just got his driving license in 2005. But yeah, it just shows that it's not about money, it's about people. And if you have of course you need funding in Formula One, but you've got to have the right people. And as Adrian said earlier, it's about empowering them and allowing them to let their talent rise to the top. And there's nobody perfect, everyone's got their flaws, but a team helps sort of work on the weaknesses of individuals. And I think this is a lovely story for Formula One. But as soon as they've won this Constructors, they've won more race, they have to start it all again for next year.
And that's kind of perfect for you, really, Eddie, because if there's one man that's spent the last couple of years on the BBC trying to explain to people that it's not about money, it's about people, not about computers, but people, and that's what Red Bull have proved.
How refreshing was that? I mean, we come across all sorts of sports people in our life. I wanted to make the point that either Mark Webber or Sebastian here, who have never won a world title, will both make unbelievable world champions. And that's the great thing, that our sport is in very good hands. And when you see the likes of these young boys, and Hamilton and all of the younger guys coming through, we are very fortunate because they are quality people who are mindful of what they got. I'm overjoyed for him.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you all very much for being part of this. And these guys probably don't want to hear that right now, but they will be defending their title next season, and it's only 17 weeks until the freight leaves for Bahrain for the first race of 2011. Look at the joy on that man's face. But congratulations to Red Bull from all of us. It's fantastic to be part of such a story. And the great thing is the story isn't over yet. In just 7 days' time, there'll be another title being celebrated, this time in the desert in Abu Dhabi. We'll be there. I'm sure you will be too. See you then.
In the early building years, yes, there were some ups and downs, but we never lost sight of what the objective were. Working at Red Bull is a way of life. It's not just a job.
How many special people change? How many lives are living strange? Where were you while we were getting high?
people forget 3 or 4 years ago they were saying we were the laughing stock.
Slowly walking down the hall, faster than a cannonball. Where were you while we...
Sebastian Vettel win. It's a 1-2 for Red Bull.
Guys, I don't know what the hell they're doing, but it's incredible the pace they have.
Oh no! Mark Webber's gone right up there.
Yes! That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Well done, Mark. Great job. You won the British Grand Prix. Well done. Fantastic, Mark. Brilliant job.
Thanks, guys. Absolutely awesome.
Hamilton versus Webber. Is they going to come together? Yes, they have.
We will get them. Don't you worry. Yes! Fantastic. Thank you. I'm proud of you. Proud to be part of your team.
It's just a massive achievement for the whole team. The effort that has gone in over the last 6 seasons is just mind-boggling. To take on the might of Ferrari, the success of McLaren, it's a massive thing that we've managed to achieve.